Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna dyno it and see what we picked up with those ATS dual fuelers. Again, the only changes that we've made since our last dyno is we went ahead and added that extra G relief valve, which is a 2200 bar or 29,000 PSI rail. And we added our ATS dual fuelers, which I covered in the previous video. Again, a really nice kit. I've been driving it around now for about 3-4 days. Much more responsive on low throttle input, and it also is a little bit cleaner going down the road at more of a higher throttle percentage. Anytime you get more rail pressure, obviously everything's going to burn a little bit cleaner. Because we were dropping so much rail, I do think we have quite a bit left on the table with these dual fuelers. So we're going to go ahead and get it strapped down. And then the only other thing we're going to do is James sent us a 6.7 rail pressure sensor tune-up. So you can actually run a 6.7 from 07.5 to I believe 2012. In 13 they changed the plug style. So we're going to put a 6.7 rail pressure sensor in here so we can actually utilize that extra 3,000 PSI. So again, we're going to dyno it just to see what the dual fuelers picked up. And then we're going to go ahead and turn up the pressure to a 6.7 level, which these injectors and the pumps, everything's built for it. We got the right relief valve. And we'll see how much 3,000 PSI rail pressure yields us as well. Should be kind of interesting. I've always been curious, pressure versus duration. So we'll get it strapped down, check it out, and see how much power we actually make with the extra rail pressure. It's driven in the snow. She's a dirty girl. We've been getting kind of pelted with some snow lately. And again, here's our dual fuelers. As you can see, no issues yet chucking the belt, and we have had some ARPMs, especially in that burnout. We were up there. So without further ado, get her strapped down. Moment of truth time. So of course, like any good diesel owner, we're gonna go ahead and check the oil. On the stick, we're good. Okay, a lot of you guys don't know, this is the Cole Perkins. He is also single, ready to mingle.
Oh dear.
And this guy is still single. So just to fill you two in, we did 1,085 and the rail pressure was dropping to like 15,000 PSI.
So based off my personal experience on adding more fuel and more CP3, I'm gonna say you're gonna lose 50 horsepower because that's what happens when you put about $7,000 of parts into a truck.
I'll go with the opposite. Gain 50 horsepower.
So you think we're gonna do 1135? I really hope we do 1136.
I hope not.
So just to fill you all in, Meyer has the highest horsepower daily driver in the shop at 1136. The other thing we've added is a interstage gauge. So this is gonna tell us what the 485 is doing. This is total boost. So that way you guys can kind of see what each turbo is contributing on this setup. All right guys, it's go time. We're gonna try it in tune 4. Okay guys, first pull on tune 4. Yeah, 1139. So we picked up 54 horsepower with the added rail pressure. It came up really smooth too. Let's grab. Okay, so here is our, all right, here's our old run. You guys can kind of see, oh, that's a little deceiving here. So this is over engine speed. I mean, crazy. We picked up torque and we picked up horsepower. Didn't move the turbo spooling around, and I mean, you can't ask for a better roll in than that. I mean, that was really nice. And what's really crazy, if you look here, see how the rail pressure kind of carried the power better too. It didn't really fall off until way over here. So that just goes to show you how much better that rail pressure is when you have it through a whole pull. I'll have to review the logs a little bit, and see what rail pressure did, but I am super pumped. And we now have a new highest horsepower fuel only daily driven truck. Have officially taken the honor from Murr. He did 11:36, I did 11:39. Legit does daily drive his and has daily driven it like that for almost a year. I got a long way to go, but it does feel good to make that power. So just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Murr has daily driven that 1136 horsepower Ripper.
That's not even it.
For a year.
I don't even care. The thing is, they're crusty old turbos, and they've finally been outdone. Like, I feel like I just have to add more crust to get back up on top. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of crust I should add.
Probably tuna, no crust.
No, honestly, I feel like I need to go to a smaller injector so it drives the turbos harder. Because that's the second highest horsepower number to date was my original small injectors, just unplugging the FCA because I was out of rail on 2 stock pumps.
But for those of you guys that don't know, Maya and I are good friends. We're just really competitive.
He's been mentally abusing me this whole time off camera. Now he's like, "Oh, I was super cool. Oh, it's not a big deal."
And I set out.
Vengeance.
I set out on this journey
just to piss me off,
just to beat Meyer, and
oh gosh. Oh, at least it only took you like 2 months. You know, it could have been like less somehow when you went to a stock truck doing. What's it been? 2 months?
It's been like 72 days.
Damn it. I held out for over 2 months. That's pretty good.
Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and run it now in tune 5, no changes, see if we can get any more power out of this before we jump up rail pressure sensor. I don't know how much we'll be able to get. That lift pump was looking pretty spicy at 2 PSI, but hey, who knows? Okay guys, here we go. Tune 5. $11.87. We set another record, and I let out too early again. I think,
right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I let out before it was done. Dang.
Wow. Oh, actually, it peaked over here.
Yeah.
So, like, you were carrying the horsepower for sure, but
Dang.
that's
So there was a little bit of controversy with Meyer. We did the uncorrected. He had beat me by 17 horsepower uncorrected. I think there's no question now.
Yeah, he got me for sure.
As I covered on the ATS install, we have our rail pressure sensor here. I'm just gonna put a backing wrench here, spin this one out, and we have a 6.7 rail sensor right here, and here's a 5.9 one. I was just able to check off the date code, so we'll get it swapped over. And we got it swapped. All we gotta do now is hook up our rail pressure extension harness, wherever it ended up. Oh man, of course I'm on camera and now I'm all thumbs here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this hooked up. Clicked in. We already got our auto cal tuned in the truck. Let's see what it does. This is going to be 195 or 190 MPa, which is 29,000 PSI rail pressure. And it will be the first tune 2250 and then 2400 US. Okay guys, we're gonna try tune 4. Again, that's 2250 US, 190 MPa. Just a reminder though, this is not going to say 29,000 PSI. A factory ECM cannot read that high, so let's go ahead.
Turbo power, baby.
Yeah, but that's 150 less US.
I was wrong.
What was
Get
2.4?
wrong.
2250. So we're down 150 US.
And doing the same power, baby.
Almost the same power. So guys, as you guys can see here, the last tune-up was, I believe, a 165 MPA, which would be a 5.9, 26,000 rail at 2400 US. All we did was increase rail pressure to 29,000 PSI with the 6.7 rail sensor, and we do have that extra G relief valve. It went to, what's the number? 1166. So we lost 21 horsepower, but we did it on 150 less duration. So I will think what we're gonna see is probably 1225 on tune 5. To give this a fair test, we're gonna let the truck cool down a little bit and then hit it on tune 5 and see where we end up for the night. I'm excited. I think, I don't know. I mean, it sounds good coming through. I ran that one way higher on the RPM. I went to like 3,500 just to see how the power carries out. That way, when we go drag race this thing, I know kind of we're in the shift. All in all, I'm pretty happy. I'm thrilled. Okay, guys, while the truck is cooling off, something interesting. I like I said in the video, I ran this one out a little longer. You can see here, this is your torque. Obviously, the yellow line, green is horsepower. That setup, I mean, it is still over 1,100 horse past 3,400 RPM. That is awesome for drag racing and stuff because that gives you a lot of window to shift it. Judging by the torque, I'm probably gonna want to shift to suck it back to 3,000 RPM. Reason being, if you suck it down too hard, that torque spike, especially if you go into overdrive, will be even higher on a shift spike. If you ever go to Northwest Dyno Circuit or any dyno event, they tell you you can shift it during the run, but if it spikes higher than anywhere else on the graph, it doesn't count. Shift spikes do increase the perceived horsepower and torque quite a bit, but I'm really liking what I see here. Nice and flat. I mean, that to me says the setup's doing well. This is non-gated. We saw about 94 pounds of boost, about 30 pounds interstage, so I'm happy with the numbers, happy with the power. All we have left is just to hit it at 2400 US at the higher rail pressure and see what she yields. And guys, I just want to stress this enough. This is really cool to be doing this with 100 overs. The reason why we keep smacking it and keep pushing it and pushing it, I'm actually really curious with the piston to wall and the ring gaps that I chose on this engine to kind of see what evidence is left behind when we tear this down. As you guys know, like, I build a lot of engines, whether it's for power driven or for myself or for friends. And I've created this chart of what I set each piston to wall, what I set each ring gap to, and what power it made. One of the coolest studies or experiments was Todd's Mega Cab. It makes like 990 horse, 2,000 foot-pounds of torque on a wide bulk QSB 6.7 piston. I did those ring gaps really tight because originally Todd said like 750, 800, so I didn't want him to have a ton of blow-by. And the piston to wall was really tight on that engine as well. And unfortunately, he ended up blowing a head gasket. So I got to look in the bores and I didn't see any scarring, no scuffing, anything like that. So I'm really curious when we tear this engine down, what we're gonna see. I mean, everything, I don't know everything, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. Everything I try to do, I try to test it, and in hopes to just make a better, I guess, mousetrap, or in this case, an engine. So let's go ahead and smack this thing on tune 5, see what she does. Okay, here we go, guys, tune 5. So we are right back to where we started, 1183. I don't know. I'm not too sure what happened there.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, James sent a retune. We're gonna go ahead and flash in the retune and see if we pick up that 1200 horsepower. We are so close.
Loading in the fresh tunes.
Talked to James, we looked at all the data. The revision I was running actually had a lot more US on the pole. We did 1187 and it had 26,000 or 2600, sorry, US at 165 MPA. This tune at 2400 at 190 MPA did 1183. So we're only 4 horsepower off and 200 US less. So now we're gonna go ahead and do a true back-to-back. Tune 4 test both ways was actually accurate, so we gained about 30 horse. So I'm hoping this Tune 5 at 2600 US will get us over that 1200 horse number, so we could just check another box off. I'm wondering if we're starting to get air limited, but we might play around with nitrous at a later time.
Okay guys, here we go, Tune 5. See what she does.
Wee wee, 1209.
Woo! Did it. 1209 horsepower. Woo! Spicy. What's crazy is we're letting out right at the same. It's nice. 1209. God dang.
The night is still young. I might have spoken too soon. James has some fresh sauce we're gonna try. We'll give it one more go tonight and see if we can get closer to maybe that 1250 number.
Okay, here we go guys. Tune 5 with the pressure revisions.
Smoky though.
Yeah. I think we're on a turbo.
Dude, probably. All right, guys. So we just did 1213. So we picked up what? 4 horsepower.
Yeah, 4.
So 4 horsepower. It looked like it held rail better, but as Meyer said, I can smell the smoke coming back in through the shop. I think we might be at the limit of the 485. Certainly not the 467.7. So we'll probably get it on the dyno again. Maybe do some turbo swapping or some nitrous spraying. But dude, that's 100% overs. Those are some big boys. Woo.
That is sauce. Full sauce.
Quick recap for you guys. This is our highest fuel only pull that we did a couple weeks ago, or probably less than a week ago. Here's the historic torque. Here's the new torque. Here's the historic horsepower. Here's the new horsepower. So that pressure change with just a rail pressure sensor and a retune netted us around 125 horsepower. I think that's pretty cool. Power curves are very similar. Dyno got ran very similar. So I'm really impressed with the pickup of just pressure.
We are gonna wrap up this video. Another night of learning on the dyno. We now have a new personal best, 1213 horsepower for a set of 100 overs. Now we have the 2 pumps, a stock Duramax and a 6.7 12 mil stroker from DDP. We saw that the air dog is definitely struggling. I do believe right now we are air limited, so I think there's still a little bit more that we're gonna try and squeeze out of this. I may or may not have bought a couple of things to facilitate that, so stay tuned. Again, guys, this project's not over. We're gonna basically put a 6.7 in this thing and just keep beating on it until, I don't know, I guess I get really bored and want to sell it or something. What do you think, Mur? That's the only foreseeable option. Like, you're never gonna just leave low enough alone.
Yeah, that is true.
So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up. I try to make these dyno videos as exciting and informative as possible. Go ahead and leave a comment if you'd like, and make sure you subscribe
The 05, I'm telling you guys, we're really close. It's going to start coming back to life, and we're going to have 2 trucks on this channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one.